Sue us, Nintendo, for using this song. Hello and welcome everyone to the year-end episode of Donkey Kong Artist Podcast. Today we will be counting down the very best of games in 2017 and a whole bunch of other dumb categories that we came up and feel like awarding people with. These awards are the most prestigious awards in gaming. Don't let anyone tell you otherwise. I'm going to start off with my own, and I'll give you my top 10 and number 9 list for Game of the Year. Number 10 for me is going to be Mario plus Rabbids Kingdom Battle, despite its stupid name. It is a delightful game which mashes two of my favorite children franchises, Mario and Ubisoft's Rabbids. Number 9 for me is going to be Shadow of War, and that is a multi-console big epic game from Lord of the Rings, where you travel around as some skeevy guy who lives in the woods, and you beat a whole bunch of people for being different than you with the hammer. It's a great game. It has an awesome nemesis system. It is really, really fun. And with that, I welcome in my co-hosts, Edmund Arnold and Collin Codega. How are you guys doing? Happy end of year.
Happy end of year. Happy 2017, and I welcome 2018 with welcome arms.
Woo!
Yes, it's about time, and I don't know. I think we're all ready to hit 2018 running, and but I will say, regardless of outside stuff going on in the world these days, it was a great year for video games.
It was that indeed. Which brings us to your guys' top 10s, and we're doing just the top 2. Let's start there. Not top 2, the bottom 2, I guess, of the top 10. Let's go with Eddie first. Eddie, wait, let me cue up the music for you. It's a big deal.
I feel very prestigious. Very, very good top 10. I didn't think Mario and Rabbids would break a top 10 for any of us, so that's very, very interesting. For me, my 10 would be Nier Automata. That game absolutely set the industry by storm, and I'm going to be honest with you, I did not play that game to completion. I think it would be a lot higher on my list if I complete it, but that opening, man, was something unlike anything I've ever played before, so that's the main reason why that's going to make my top 10. Everything I've heard about this game has been fantastic. Everything I've heard about this game has been intriguing. The whole Android verse robot theme line is something that I'm going to be really into, but yeah, that's going to be my top 10. I guess the characters 9B, 2S, 1A all brought something different to the game. You played 3 different times to get a different perspective of that game. So that's something special. You'll see it on a lot of number 1s on these top 10 lists. So that's going to be my 10. 9, I'm going to go with Cuphead, Studio MDHR. Best looking game of the year. Most beautiful game of the year. But I guess that's what you get when you take 35 years to make a game. And it's just too hard. That's the only reason why it's so low. It's too hard. If I could have got through that game without wanting to break everything that was next to me, I'd probably have it in my top 3. But the fact that it was so hard, but man, that whole overall package of the game looks beautiful, sounds amazing. So yeah, 10 for me, Nier Automata, 9, Cuphead.
I think we're going to see a lot of Cuphead in today's list. Collin, how about you? What's 10 and 9?
Yeah, so it's kind of funny based off Eddie's comment there. I actually, for 10, I have Mario plus Rabbids. So,
ooh, look at that!
Really yeah, so hey, that's kind of cool. And yeah, I don't know, Mario plus Rabbids, it was a game I thought nothing of before it came out, except for kind of, I just didn't think it was going to really equate to a good fluid game, but it's basically XCOM with Mario skins, and it's a fantastic game. Really, really fun, and it's also like super great on the Switch just to pick it up, play it real quick, set it down, so really enjoyed that game. And then actually for 9, I have Nier. Yeah, so I actually, just like Eddie, I did not complete the game. Listened to a lot of just different industry people talk about the game, saying how powerful it is with the multiple endings. Really, really fun game at the end of the day. It's something I'll definitely come back to. It's one of those games that will always be there. I think it's going to hold up well, and really excited to kind of eventually beat it, just so I can, see what everyone's talking about.
So both of you had Mario and Rabbids as number 10. Do you guys think that brought something new to the Switch? Is that why? Or was it just... Because for me, it was just like another XCOM game.
Sure.
That wasn't as good as XCOM.
Here's how I voted on it. Just because it went so above and beyond what I thought it was going to be, that kind of factored into it. Also, it's just a fun game. And it's funny.
You played it at E3, right?
I did play it at E3.
Before.
I played it at E3, and then I played it later, afterwards.
How different was that experience from playing it on E3 to playing it now?
Almost exactly the same. I mean, the gameplay was still there. It was just more polished. Not polished isn't even the right word. Just more. E3 was just like a small snippet of the game.
Very interesting. Yeah. I did not think it was going to make it.
I mean, it's a really fun game, and yeah, I think it's just like I wonder if I would be infatuated with it as much if it was on Xbox or PlayStation. Mm-hmm. But the fact that it's on the Switch and I can play it on the go, I don't know. It's just really, really fun. I feel like I had a fat grin on my face the entire time I was playing it.
I'm glad that we both picked it. I'm really surprised that anyone else would have picked it.
Honestly, I thought it was my wild card pretty much. I was like, I don't really think anyone else is going to have this. Like, definitely Nier. I'm not surprised Eddie and I both have that on. It's a very, very popular game. But yeah, Mario Rabbids, that's pretty awesome.
I'm surprised, yeah. And I almost kept Nier off, given the fact that I haven't played that much of it. I think I played like 15 hours is a lot when you really think about it. But I didn't really get to see the bulk of that game. I guess there's a big twist in the middle. Where main character kind of dies. Sorry, spoilers. So I kind of want to get to that point to see what it looks like. I want to play the different perspectives. But I think if I would have played this whole game, given what I've read about it, it would have probably been in my top 2.
Well, as of now, making the top 10 on the most prestigious list in gaming history is pretty good for both of these games. Moving on to other categories, however, I'm going to start with my category, and I will give it to you now. Let me cue up some other music. Games that made me curse at my TV. These are games that were very, very hard and made me very, very upset because of how hard they were. I am not good at video games, so some of these games might not be that hard. All right, I have 4. I have a top 4 for this. I know it's a weird number to do.
4.
Top 4.
Okay.
Because there's kind of a tie for 3 and 4, because they're very similar games. So, at 3 and 4, I have Shadow of War and Assassin's Creed Origins. Neither of these games seem like they should be that hard, but they have a pretty steep learning curve when you first start them, and I logged a lot of game overs and yelled a lot of bad words at my television while playing both of these games. I'm going to go number 2 is Breath of the Wild by The Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild, which is a wonderful game, but good God, when you start this game, it is not easy. They just throw you into this world with nothing. I froze to death so many times at the beginning of this game.
You do that a lot.
Oh yeah, it's terrible. Number 1, obviously, I mean, how could it be anything other than this? It's Cuphead. Cuphead is the hardest game I've played since Super Meat Boy, I think. And it might even be harder than Super Meat Boy.
Yeah, I mean, it's Cuphead is insanely hard. Really, really fun, and it's so satisfying when you actually do beat a really tough run or a boss, but, oh man, it's definitely a frustrating game at times, but, that's the point, but they do a good job frustrating the player.
I think I swore. I said things I didn't even know I had in my head when I played Cuphead.
You're making up curse words.
It was just anything that sounded angry.
So Cuphead would be your number 1 in that category.
I gotta go Cuphead with games that made me curse on my TV. I open up the field now to you. Eddie, Collin, what made you curse the most of your TV this year?
You know what? Actually, the easy one is Cuphead. I did have that down. Already explained. Now, a little bit differently is actually Destiny 2. A game I put a lot of time into. I really enjoyed it, but the way I looked at this category at first was just pure frustration, and trying to beat that raid for 9 hours was one of the most frustrating experiences of my life, and I never beat it. I got to the final boss, and it's just like we had someone drop out, and it never happened. And oh my gosh, I would just absolutely do anything to get those 9 hours back.
For me, it would definitely be, and I took a different route for this one too. I didn't pick the hardest game, because definitely that would be Cuphead, because Cuphead made me just want to break people's faces. What the game that just made me, not only did it make me curse at my TV, it made me like crawl into a ball and cry about everything that's wrong with 2017 was Mass Effect Andromeda. I wanted that game to be so good, and I am such a big Mass Effect stan, and I stand by Mass Effect in every which way possible. And when that game came out, it just absolutely broke my heart.
I like how much interpretation there was in my vague title, because I picked games that were difficult, which is why they made me curse. Collin picked things that were frustrating, and you picked something that just broke your heart.
Well, it killed the series, and it's one of the best series of all time. And that's something that just makes me want to cuss at my TV every time I launch that game. And I couldn't even I love Mass Effect, like I love Star Wars, and I couldn't even make it past 10 hours in Andromeda. That's how devastatingly bad that game was.
It's just so sad, because the Mass Effect universe is it's so good, and they killed Mass Effect. Like, I don't see a Mass Effect game coming out for a long time. Like, apparently, and this is if you're, for some weird reason, actually want to play to the end of Andromeda, I mean, feel free to go for it. It's
if you like pain.
Apparently there is DLC, like, terminals that you can see where they talk like, oh, this arc of this race is out there, and the DLC is never coming. So there's, like, open terminals with, you can tell is DLC content, but they're never going to deliver it. So it's like, you don't even know what happens in the game. Apparently it has a loose ending. It's so sad. Mass Effect 1 through 3 is so good.
It's like the Detroit of video games. It's just like planned buildings that never got finished.
No, I think that's a good observation. It's like, what's a big budget film that came out with all these like ideas and then you never got to see them completed?
Right.
That would be what Mass Effect Andromeda would be, because there's just plot threads throughout the entire movie, throughout the entire game that are open, that never get closed. That they're like, we're going to come back to this in the next one. We're going to come back to this in the next one. And it's just such a garbage game that
there is no next one.
There is no next one.
It's like Jupiter Ascending.
There we go. Thank you.
John Carter. It's also another.
Screw both of you guys for making me think of those two movies. Ugh.
You're welcome.
All right, those are all good options. However, there can only be one winner in this category. So I feel like we should try. I think we've all made our cases for which one should be the game that makes you cursor your TV. Let's see if we can come to a conclusion. I am going to stick with Cuphead. I'm sorry, I have to. I curse the most playing that game. And based on just the name of the category alone, I feel like that's got to be my number one. I feel Colin's Destiny 2 argument is very good, though.
Yeah, Colin's. I was going in here going to stand by mine, but Colin's Destiny 2 argument was so good, especially given what happened with like Destiny within the last 3 months.
I'm having PTSD, like flashbacks right now of sitting there waiting for people to join our squad. Oh my gosh!
Just like all that raid was something brutal, and the payoff was just not good enough. But given the fact that Pat made this category, and I didn't understand the parameters of this category, I'm gonna have to probably go with Cuphead as well.
Oh!
That game was just super hard. Neo's very close behind it. NIOH, that game that came out like Bloodsworns, that's very close behind it. But yeah, I'm gonna have to go with Cuphead.
That's an official vote for Cuphead, giving it the 2-1 win. Congratulations, Cuphead, the game that made us all swear the most at our TV.
Yeah.
Way to go, guys!
You did it. I'm gonna say that after every award. You did it.
I'm proud of you.
Award in the mail in 3 to 5 years.
All right, and with that, let's give our number 8 and number 7 games of the year. I will start first. Music, please. It's so majestic. I like it.
Very regal.
Yes. It's from Mario Party 9. Copyright by Nintendo. Hope they don't listen to our podcast. The number 8 best game of the year for me is going to go to Assassin's Creed Origins, which I was not expecting at all. I thought this game was not going to be good. I played it at E3. It was not even close to being finished. It was buggy. It froze like 4 times. I actually felt embarrassed for the guy who was showing me the game. And yet, they pulled off something that I never thought was possible, getting me to care about Assassin's Creed a game series that I constantly crap upon. So I'm glad with that. The world building was amazing. The gameplay was different. It was more of an RPG. It was beautiful. I was very, very moved by this game. Completely different than what I thought it was going to be. Number 7 for me is going to be Wolfenstein 2, a game that I actually wanted to put a little bit higher, but due to the length of the story and just the overall, I don't want to say, look, it's on the list. It was a good game. I wanted it to be my top 5. I'm only going to put it at top 7. I thought it was a beautiful game. I thought it was a very fun game, but it felt a little bit lacking in the length of the game and also in the gameplay. I felt got a little bit repetitive at times. However, I did absolutely love this game and highly recommend it to anyone who wants to play a first-person shooter. So those are my 8 and 7.
Nice, and you know what, Wolfenstein, I really need to play that game. I got through like the first level and started playing something else, and from what I hear, just the story itself is like super special, and there's some just insane stuff going on in that in some of those cutscenes from what I've heard.
It delivers on the insane front. What do you guys have for 8 and 7 this year?
Yeah, so you know what I have on my list actually for number 8, I have Cuphead. So and I'm pretty new to Cuphead. I actually just picked it up recently on sale, and it is just a magical just the art style is unbelievable, and it's a very frustrating game. I'm still kind of making my way through it, but when you just beat a boss that's been just nagging you and you can't beat it, and you finally like get over the hump, it is such a satisfying feeling. And so Cuphead at 8, and then when it comes down to 7, I actually have Pyre on here. Yeah, Pyre is a special game in my opinion. I never thought I would be into a game where it is tons of dialogue, the characters are stationary on the screen, and it is a 3-on-3 sports game. It's a sports game. It's unbelievable, but the story is great. The cast of characters are awesome. I mean, they have a dog with a mustache. I mean, what more could you want?
Good. So for me, I agree with Pat. My number 8 was Wolfenstein: The New Colossus. It would have been in my top 3, but that gameplay, it's not the best first-person shooter, let's be honest with ourselves. But that story, and I disagree with you, I think the story was perfect lane. I actually bumped my, which is why this game is so low, I bumped my difficulty level down to easy, just so I could blow by to see the story. Everyone who hasn't listened to this podcast, I'm going to spoil it. Wolfenstein has the best moment in the middle of the game that I've ever seen in a video game. There's a part where your character gets captured by the main villain, things happen, and that was just for me, it was the best moment of the video in all video games this year. A close second moments of video games is when you are introduced to Hitler. I think what the game did with Hitler, what the game did with Ronald Reagan, introducing, it's just something spectacular, and it's something that I've never really seen in alt fiction done, and I think across all mediums, it's the best portrayal of Hitler if he would have made it. I know that sounds kind of controversial, but I enjoyed seeing it.
One of the categories should have been best Hitler in a video game.
I mean, they would win it by far, and by Wolfenstein had the best cutscenes of the year. And if you like story-heavy games, please buy Wolfenstein. That game was absolutely phenomenal. Gameplay aside, it gets kind of monotonous in the middle, and that ending was kind of like just kind of happens, and I was just kind of like, really, that's it? But all right. And then my number 7 would be Yakuza 0. Yakuza 0 was something that I just adored this year. The story was great. It had like this crime Yakuza, like I've never played a Yakuza before. I played them, but I haven't really played one before, if you get my meaning. I was just playing mini games, flying through it, but I really got invested into this story. Both characters have a very good story to follow, and man, I played bowling and blackjack like crazy. I was thinking about bowling this morning, writing this top 10, and I'm like, I think I'm going to play some Yakuza bowling this afternoon. But yeah, gameplay's okay, the fighting's a little boring, but other than that, that game was something, and those side missions are the funniest things I've seen. The humor is just off the cuff. It's just a great game. If you like you want to, get out of your conventional type video games, go pick up Yakuza 0. So 8, Wolfenstein 2, 7, Yakuza 0 for me.
Now, Eddie, with Yakuza 0, is someone like myself where I've never played any of the Yakuza games, is that an acceptable one to just jump in? Because I'm assuming it's a prequel since it's 0.
Yeah, I think so. I think it opens up the stories of Cosimo, and I could be saying these names wrong, and I don't know the two main characters, but it does open up their stories very well to a point and I mean, the story is very engaging. It's a mafia-style story where, you have a brother that you're trying to protect on one side, and then you have, like, this young lady that you're trying to protect on the other side, and you're playing two characters, so it separates, and you have activities on each side. So, very in-depth, very good game. I think anyone who's never played a Yakuza could jump into it and really enjoy it.
I like that we have a lot of different games on these lists, guys. We're doing pretty good. Proud of us.
Look at us, we're diverse.
Yay us. We did it.
Yay.
That's the catchphrase for this episode. All right, now for a different category, let's jump over to Edmund Arnold. What's your first category?
All right, my first category, let's see here. I think we should... Let's do this one first. Who are your best supporting characters of the year? This could be any type of character, whether it be a side character, whether it be a shopkeeper, whether it be just a random character that you get a side mission from. In your vast world of playing video games this year, that we've seen so many worlds, who was your favorite supporting character in the game? I guess I'll go first. There was so many good characters throughout games this year. So I'm gonna go with 3. Number 3, I don't know his name, but there's this guy in Yakuza 0 that meets you. So, okay, there's just an adult video store, right? That you can go and watch adult videos. So every time you go watch an adult video, this guy will meet you outside, and he's just this most perverted. It's something that you have to play, but every time I met him after going to the adult video store, I had to crack up because he was in it. He made me kept going back to this perverted little store. So he'd be my number 3. I can't tell you a name. My number 2 would be... Actually, I only have 2. My number 1 would be Rookie from Pyre, the dog with the mustache. Very engaging. His very funny character when you first meet him. But then as you get to know him more, his story is tragic, very in-depth, very good companion. If I was going to go in a 3-on-3 tournament to get out of hell or purgatory or whatever, I would want him on my team. So those are my 2. But my number 1 would be Rookie, and that's why I'd put up to fight against any one of you guys.
I mean, he's a dog with a mustache. How do you go wrong with that?
A mustache that you can take on and off. You have the options to put it on and off, which is amazing. So, yeah, Rookie. Rookie for the win.
Yeah, so I can definitely jump in on this. So for best supporting character, I really actually like, I believe it's pronounced Rost, the mentor for Alloy in Horizon New Dawn. Horizon Zero Dawn, excuse me. He is a really interesting character. He's that, like, kind of firm but very, like, gentle mentor to Alloy and basically, like, you know, shows her the way and how to survive. And it's cool seeing their relationship start off in kind of a more of a 2 adults, or, like, one's a young adult, one's older. And then you do get some flashbacks of, like, when she was a little kid and, like, how they came about meeting. So I thought he was a really, really interesting character. And every scene he was in, I was super excited about.
All right, this was a really, really hard category, Eddie. First off, it's hard to remember, like, supporting characters in games because there's so many of them.
There's so many.
In so many games. I'm going to do a weird one, and it's going to sound funny. I'm doing Lord Shaxx from Destiny 2 for 2 reasons. Number 1 is that Lenny James has the greatest voice of all time, maybe second to Lance Reddick, who is also in Destiny 2. And then B, I love Lord Shaxx in that game. I think he's the only one of the characters with any real personality other than Cade Six, who just kind of gets on my nerves because he's exactly like every smarmy character ever. Lord Shaxx is so, like, prim and proper, and he's always giving people crap when you're fighting in the Crucible. I love Lord Shaxx. He's going to take it from me this year.
I can't go with anything from Destiny this year because Destiny was such a vast disappointment for me.
Ooh. Shots fired.
Ross was a great character, and he did such a good job of introducing us to that world, and he was, like, such an engaging, like, he felt like a mentor, right? So, Colin, that's a great choice, but I got to go with the Rookie, the dog with a mustache.
Oh, yeah, no, I mean, I think that's a great call. Also, though, I do have to say, shout out, I don't know if you guys played Animal Crossing Mobile, but terrible game, don't enjoy it. But those mechanics, I don't even know, I keep forgetting what animals they are, but they're hilarious. So that was actually one of the only reasons to turn on Animal Crossing.
Do they have mustaches, though? That's the question.
You know what? They're mechanics, so that's very high likelihood, but definitely not as curly, I'm sure. So it wouldn't be as good, anyways.
Gotcha. I'm glad that nobody said Hitler in this round.
He was
check
good.
That box.
It was a good scene. If you guys have the chance to look at it on YouTube, I know I sounded pro Hitler there, and it sounds terrible in hindsight. But oh my God, what that scene did for that game! At what moment it was at is just phenomenal.
Yeah, it's pretty awesome. I know what scene you're talking about. It's great.
Yeah, and you're right. I'm glad no one put Hitler. And just a quick, I'm going to talk about her a lot, but Makoto Nijima from Persona 5 was absolutely phenomenal too. And anyone who played Persona 5 would tell you that she was one of the best characters in that game. So I just wanted to give her a shout out too.
All right, it's a stacked category, but there's going to be one winner. So I'm going to have to side with Eddie. I'm giving it to Rookie. He's a dog with a mustache. That's all you need to know.
Game over.
Yeah, game over,
dude.
And he's prim and proper, very articulate. Just and he's like the most dominant person on that Pyre field. Like, don't at me. Who's better than Rookie on Pyre? So
I got nobody. Let's give it up for Rookie. Well done.
Yeah, good job, Rookie. You win.
You did it.
The most prestigious awards in video gaming continue with our number, what are we on, 6 and 5 at this point? Are we going down by twos?
The meat of it now.
Math is hard. All right, so this is the meat. Let's do. Actually, I'm gonna do you one better. I'm gonna do 6, 5, and 4. That way we can do 3, 2, and then number 1.
Okay.
This is crazy.
And so I wish we had some really awesome music, maybe from Nintendo, like this. Oh, this is even better than the other song.
It's my jam.
This is what I work out to. All right. Number 6 game of the year for me is going to be Cuphead. I think we're all going to have this on our top 10. Collin already had it. I have a number 6. I'd be surprised if Eddie didn't have it somewhere. I put it in number 6. Well, tease the people. Cuphead is a great game. We've already talked about it quite a bit. If you haven't played it, it's not set, but it's based off a 1930s cartoon style. It is an absolutely gorgeous game. It is brutally hard. It is a labor of love by the Moldenhauer brothers. It is a great, great game. Pick it up. It's also only $20. Number 5 for me is Destiny 2, which might be a little bit more controversial. I know that some people did not love Destiny 2. However, I did not play Destiny 1 that much, and I didn't like it. I thought Destiny 2 was awesome, so I loved it. And then I am going to put Super Mario Odyssey at number 4, which might seem a little low for a list like this, but in my defense, I haven't put that much time into Super Mario Odyssey yet, so I'm a little bit biased. Super Mario Odyssey, obviously a lot of people, top game of the year. I have it at number 4. Moving on to you, Eddie. What do you have as 6, 5, and 4 on your list?
Number 6 was a wonderful, wonderful, wonderful indie title by Infinite Foe that I absolutely loved. That could have been higher on my list, but this was hard. A Night in the Woods. I played it on PC. About a great, 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 probably my favorite story of the year. A young lady comes back from college. Her name is May. She's dealing with psychological issues. It doesn't get revealed through maybe midpoint of the game. Dealing with dissociative identity issues from trauma in her early life. This game tells so that deep of a story. Imagine that. This game is told in a very cartoony-like Saturday morning style. The characters in this game are absolutely outstanding. Bay, the hippo elephant, I don't know what she was. Your best friend who's a shop owner, the 7-Eleven guy who just tells you to break shit all the time. Kind of reminded me of the people we went to high school with. And I think A Night in the Woods stuck with me so much because it reminded me a lot of Reno, especially coming back home with Reno, where everyone kind of knows where everyone's going, everyone's parents stay in touch, groomers, things like that. And then it has a side story with a little cult. I just loved it. So I can talk all day. So yeah, just like Reno. So A Night in the Woods. If you have time, it's on PlayStation 4 now. If you like indie games like myself, please play this game. It's only 10 to 20 hours, and the ending is absolutely fantastic. It's a good game if you're in your 20s trying to figure things out. Yeah, I can go on for days. My number 5, which is kind of high in my opinion, Super Mario Odyssey.
Wow.
Yeah, I played it through start to finish. Loved it. I just think there were a lot of better games out there this year. The game, I had a smile on my face from start to finish. It's my most feel-good game of the year. No other game that came out this year made me feel better about being a gamer. So props to Nintendo for taking me back to my 14, 15-year-old self. I thought the worlds were designed beautifully. I love New Donk City, one of my favorite areas in a video game ever. Lunch Kingdom, just absolutely amazing. The Samurai World. So yeah, Super Mario Odyssey is my number 5. The gameplay mechanics, the things you could do. Look up YouTube videos of things you could do with Mario in that game. It is very intricate. And my number 4, which is kind of controversial, would be Horizon: The New Dawn. A lot of people had that as their game of the year. I loved this game. This game met all my expectations. It was just too goddamn big. There is too much to do in it, and I could not focus on the story. Looks beautiful. The world is coherent. The story building in the game is fantastic. Colin's probably going to talk about this game. I have a feeling it's probably in his higher up, so I'll let him talk about it because he knows he played way more than I did. But yeah, so 6, Night in the Woods, 5, Super Mario Odyssey, 4, Horizon: The New Dawn.
Man, those were some surprising ones from you. That is not what I was expecting.
Throwing some curveballs there, Eddie.
Throwing it up, man.
Well, I guess since Eddie and Pat have gone, I can jump into 6, 5, and 4. For number 6, I have Destiny 2. Which when it came out, yeah, you would think that would be a lot higher for me. I was obsessed with this game. How the game's played out, I think, it's really struck me. I put a lot of time into Destiny 1. I have a blast when I play Destiny 2, but at the same time, I've hit a point in life where it's just so hard for me to continually grind a game like that to keep a character at the highest power or armor, whatever, light level, whatever they call it this game. And, I mean, I had a blast playing. I love jumping into strikes, but, like, to be honest, I don't like playing PvP on it. Like, I don't like Crucible. It's not fun. I'm not good enough to play Trials of the 9 and try to get gear that way. So I mainly do strikes, play the story, and then attempt the raid. And that was also, I think I just have I haven't played it since I tried to beat the raid, and I just have a sour taste in my mouth from it. So Destiny 2, put it number 6. Number 5, Assassin's Creed Origins.
Ooh.
Love that game. Oh my gosh, it is so good. I probably, I put a solid dent into it. I still need to beat it. But Bayek is one of the he's not your typical Assassin's Creed character, and that's what I love about him. I just, love that he's a magi. He's like this kind of sheriff that's good at everything, and it's a really good story. I love the family ties to it. And, and also, I feel like the modern-day stuff in Assassin's Creed Origins, it's there, but it's a little bit less intense. I feel like I can just kind of breeze through it and almost ignore it, which I like, because I just want to be in ancient Egypt. So, loved Assassin's Creed Origins, number 5. And then number 4, Eddie, I have the same one as you, Horizon Zero Dawn. I've got it at number 4.
Really? Okay.
Yes, and I love that game. This has been an insane year for video games, though, but, I would say that with Horizon Zero Dawn, I played that from start to finish in only a couple of weeks, and I rarely do that with a game. It had me hooked. The world was just really great. I just really enjoy the story of Owlette, and just they made a really great protagonist that she's really altruistic. She has great values, but at the same time, like, she's in this barren world, and she is discovering the secrets of, like, how they got to that point with these giant dinosaurs, what happened to the ancient civilizations, and they do a really good job revealing that over time. And once you kind of figure out the full picture of how things played out, it's an aha moment. It's not shocking, but it's so beautifully done, and how they lead you through that narrative. And to be honest, towards the end, I was skipping side missions. I was just going straight to the story mission marker. But it was one of the most, it was probably one of the, it got its nails in me. I was hooked. So, just to recap, 6 Destiny 2, 5 Assassin's Creed Origins, and 4 Horizon Zero Dawn.
The shots continue.
The hell do you both have Destiny 2 on your top 10 for this year? Is it Stockholm Syndrome? Is it because, like, I don't, the game was Destiny 1.5. There was nothing new about the game.
Well, I didn't play the first one that much.
I don't get it.
I didn't play that much the first one. That's okay. Why I have it that far out there. And I played a lot of it. At the end of the day,
so yeah, is that just so? Is that why it's because you guys played so much? Was it like what about it would put it? So like Pat, you have like Assassin's Creed at 8. What about Destiny 2 is better than Assassin's Creed or Wolfenstein? I just don't. I'm just trying to figure out why anyone would put Destiny 2 on their Game of the Year list.
I don't know. It was just when it started, or when it first came out, doing like the first couple strikes in the multiplayer. I thought the story was really weak, like super weak. I think the gameplay is super tight. I think that like I had more fun playing in the Crucible, I guess. And for me, I hadn't played a first-person shooter in a really long time, so maybe it was just getting back into it.
Yeah, I mean, for myself, it is like what Pat mentioned, the controls. It is the best first-person shooter. The way it feels, the way you move, the slight blur you get when you move really fast, like what Bungie's able to do, no one else can replicate. And so it's based on that, time spent on it. And honestly, when everyone was grinding, everyone was playing on my PlayStation friends, it was a lot of fun, where I even have, like, I had a filter where it was just like my friends list, but it was only for Destiny. So I could just see like, oh, who of my Destiny homies are on right now. And it was a lot of fun when everyone was playing.
Good arguments. Good arguments. Yeah. I can't fight that.
No, thanks for judging us though, dude.
I have to. Because I played a lot of Destiny, but it was just such... It's not even a garbage. I'm not even saying it's a bad game. It's just not a game that should be on a top 10 list, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Because there were so many games that were doing different things. And I feel the same way about Shadow War. I was just going to argue with the same point with you about that, Pat. Like, it's just, in a year where we have so many games doing such different things, it's hard for me to put games on this list. It's going to seem hypocritical what my number one is, that have done the same thing in the past.
You're going to be so pissed when you hear my top couple.
wait till you guys hear my number one. You're going to be like, really, Edmund? So, yeah, but whatever.
All right.
I'm excited.
That's my argument.
All right, I dig it. Regardless, Collin Codega, what is your category for everybody to vote on and argue about? Since Eddie seems to be in the arguing mood.
Yeah, hey, let's get this cracking then. So, for my category, it's actually shout out to Eddie for I believe it was Eddie that said this, but yeah, basically it's the best Pat game of the year, the best Patrick Shanley game, and what we mean by that is something that did not come out in 2017, but you were playing in 2017. So, for myself on that one, it's basically I got hooked so greatly by Wolf Among Us. I had never played Wolf Among Us before, and that was my favorite Telltale experience I have. Also, just a little disclaimer, I haven't played Tales of the Borderlands. I hear that's amazing. But Wolf Among Us was amazing, and actually I got into Gears of War 4 for a long time when I picked up an Xbox, and both games that didn't come out this year, but they really, really enjoyed them, and Wolf Among Us is absolutely one of my all-time favorite games. I loved it.
I think the Wolf Among Us is my favorite. I don't know. Tales of Borderlands was really good. But Wolf Among Us, second one got announced, coming out in 2018, so that's a big thing. But for me, I think, judge accordingly, I play The Sims every year. I think it's just something that I have no idea.
You play The Sims every year? I
play The Sims. Dude, I will put like maybe 100 hours a year into The Sims, maybe 80.
My God.
I think it's therapeutic for me. It's like one of those things where I get into
playing God.
Yeah, absolutely. One of my depressive issues, I would just like put a whole bunch of people in a room and just be like, get out of there now, you assholes.
I do like killing Sims. It's fun.
It's fun, but my number one this year is my little golden gem that I just keep going back to, RimWorld on PC. It is a game. It's a base building game, colony building game where you crash land on a planet. It's kind of like Lost and Walking Dead, I guess. So you have to, manage your colony, make sure that they have enough resources to survive. You get attacked by space, what are those things called? Space terrorists and space, like natives, I guess, that don't want you there. So you have to defend your colony, keep building it up. This game is absolutely phenomenal. They added drugs this year, so your characters can get, addicted. So you have to manage that. Multiple colonists of mine died from liver failure because they were all alcoholics.
It's like Oregon Trail in space.
Yeah, it is Oregon Trail in space. Thank you. It's exactly that. So yeah, that is it's still in early access. That would be my game of the year every year. That's like my Pat game. I play that every year since the 2 year. It released 2 years ago. So
since this category is named after me, I feel like I'm going to steal the show here. Eddie, I guarantee you can guess what my game is this year.
Final Fantasy 9?
Yes! Well done.
Yeah.
You even got the right Final Fantasy. Well, that was
nerds.
I played this game maybe 17 times in my life. I beat it again this year. I beat it a couple weeks ago. Fantastic game. I also beat Final Fantasy X again this year. And I also played another Final Fantasy game, which I'll talk more about in a little bit. Spoiler. So yeah, obviously Final Fantasy IX I got to go back to. It's a great game. Your main character is Zidane. He is a thief and also a fake actor who kidnaps the princess. Even though she is willing to get kidnapped, you get thrust into a geopolitical war between two warring nations. Lots of other crazy crap happens, and you fight a giant marble at the end. It is a great game, one of my favorite Final Fantasies. It has a great crystal system for leveling up abilities and different weapons. If anyone's played Final Fantasy, every single battle system is a little bit tweaked every time it comes out. I think this one and Final Fantasy VII are two of my favorites. It's also a throwback to the classic Final Fantasies of the NES era and the SNES era. Great game. Pick it up. If you have a collector's edition, it's worth over $1,000. That's a fun fact for everybody out there. Woo!
God damn. Did they reboot that one this year? Is
no,
that one that they
not
rebooted
yet.
This year?
I think they have do they have an HD version of it? I think they might, but I don't know if it was this year. This year was not Final Fantasy IX.
It's Final because Colin's brother is a big Final Fantasy fan too. I remember him telling me, and I think we've had this conversation before. Is Final Fantasy IX is the best regarded Final Fantasy.
No, 7 is, but 9 is up there.
See, I'll argue with that in 7 because a lot of people that are like hardcore game enthusiasts think 7 is garbage.
No, that's because a bunch of nerds get angry about anything that gets popular and then get against it. Look, it's clearly the best one. Fight me in real life. 6 is the one that like hipsters think is the best one. 7's the best game. Anyone who says that other than is a contrarian and an idiot.
Which one had the bunny? The bunny lady.
Oh, that's 12.
That one's good too, right?
I love that game.
We need to have. Can we next year? Can we have a Final Fantasy just like an hour where you can just like educate? I ask this about you all the time.
Yes,
that is a one game series that I know nothing about. I played multiple of them. Like I just need to know what the hell is going on. It's like Metal Gear Solid.
We're gonna do a deep dive in Final Fantasy in 2018. There can only be one winner, you guys. As with every other one, who wins the Pat Game of the Year? Perhaps the most prestigious of the prestigious awards.
I mean, your name's in the title, Pat, but honestly, like, just the passion you have for Final Fantasy, and especially, like, just hearing about Final Fantasy 9, I've only played 10 in 15, and it's already got me where I'm like, I wonder if, like, how fun would that be to just go to PSN store right now and download, like, 9 or 7 or something like that. So, I don't know, just based on passion, that's what I would go with. That's my
yes!
And I will argue this against Pat. I listened to Pat. What is this, our 30th podcast? I don't know how many podcasts we've done this year.
Up there.
He talks about Final Fantasy a lot. I've seen Final Fantasy in my PlayStation store screen. I've hovered over it multiple times, and I still have not purchased it. So he has not convinced me yet. So I'm going to give him the year of 2018 to convince me to be a Final Fantasy fan. So in that regard, I have to go The Wolf Among Us, because it's one of my favorite games of all time, probably be in my top 10. And the fact that Collin finally played it after years and years of me telling him he should play it, I'm just happy. And he liked it. I'm just so happy. So I'm gonna have to go with Collin, The Wolf Among Us.
I guess we're gonna have to split it. Then we have dual winners: The Wolf Among Us and Final Fantasy. Pick whatever number you want and throw it on there with Final Fantasy. You can't go wrong unless you play 8. 8 is garbage, and I will punch you in your face.
That's
and the winner is Wolf Among Fantasy.
Fantasy Wolfie McMungs.
My brain just exploded trying to figure out names for that.
Yeah, don't think about it too hard. Back to our list of the best games of the year. We're getting down to the wire, folks. This is 3 and 2. I'm going to switch back to the original song because the last one I'm pretty sure gave me a nosebleed. Here we go. Yeah, this one, it's regal, is what I like about
that one
more. All right, prepare to get mad. The third best game of the year for me is a reboot of a Final Fantasy game, Final Fantasy 12 Zodiac Age. Woo!
Really?
Yeah, that's right. This game is a remake. It's not even a remake. It's just an HD remaster, really. But it does offer new things, including new bosses, one that is even more powerful than the most powerful game in the old boss, which was the most powerful Final Fantasy boss of all time, Yasmit. It offers revamped gameplay, revamped visuals. It is a beautiful story. It is a wonderful game. Go pick it up. Or listen to our old podcast when we have one of the producers on it. It's a great time. Number 2 is a game that I don't think is going to be on anyone else's list, but I loved it. It is called Rime. Rime came out this May. It is a small online game for the Xbox. I think it's also might be on PS4. In the game, you basically play a little boy who washes up on shore in a strange Greek-inspired village. And you basically just go around trying to figure out why you're there and what's going on. It is a almost silent game. There's no dialogue. It has beautiful music, beautiful visuals. It is a lot of fun, and it's full of puzzles. It feels like a spiritual cousin to Zelda. Go check out Rime. So to recap, number 3, Final Fantasy 12 Zodiac Age. Number 2, Rime. And those are my top 3 and 2 games of the year.
Garbage 3, wow. But that's a very interesting number 2. Very interesting number 2.
Keeping you on your toes.
Your number 3 can go die somewhere.
Like, what's he gonna say here on this one?
I know. I was like, really, Final Fantasy 12? Are you kidding me?
Pac-Man.
All right.
Yeah, I think we do need a Final Fantasy podcast episode one time where we just break it down, because it confuses me. Like, what's the deal with chocobos?
Or like all the princes, or whatever. All right. You want to go, Collin?
Yeah. I can go for my 3 and 2. So for number 3, I actually have Zelda Breath of the Wild.
No way! Oh
yes.
my god.
Yes. Oh no, see, you see, I sit in the back, I'm quiet about these little curveballs I'm throwing for my list, but, I mean, it was an amazing game. It was so good, so much fun, and it redefined what an open world is and what is possible. When I heard the announcement and what it would be an open world Zelda, I was really disappointed, but the execution was phenomenal, even though the rain's annoying. Like, the rain and lightning effects in the environment is amazing, but I will say I didn't beat it, and also I got about 2 of the 4 giant structures you have to take care of, the animals or whatever, and I don't know, I just hit a point where I stopped playing, and I think it was almost too overwhelming for me, where, like, I don't know, I'm just like, I have a job, like, I have to do all day, every day, and, like, it felt like it was work when I was coming home, where I'm like, oh, I gotta get food, I gotta do, but, amazing game, but also I have to put it at 3 because of that. Now, this can be controversial. Number 2, Super Mario Odyssey. Super Mario Odyssey.
What is your number 1? What is going on here?
I bet Eddie knows it. But I love Super Mario Odyssey. It is so much fun. I've beaten the first, like, kind of soft ending. I just hit over 200 moons, and I'm still chugging along. It's my go-to if I'm hanging out at my girlfriend's house and I have 5-10 minutes while she's showering or something. I'll just pull out a Switch. Literally, it's the greatest thing, I must say. For a relationship, the Switch is great. Unless you play it all the time, and then you will be you'll be in the doghouse. But love playing Mario. Another thing also, like, I thought the hat was going to be so dumb in it. It is so cool. Just throwing that around, taking over different animals, and I really love the environments too. So yeah. So number 3, Zelda Breath of the Wild, and number 2, Super Mario Odyssey.
Man.
This is going to be interesting. We all have, like, wildly different number 1s.
I thought we were all going to have the same number 1. I'm blown away that we do not.
No, I cannot wait to fight you guys. All right. So my 3 and 2 are a little different. 3 I had a lot of tough time with. I wanted to put Wolfenstein here. I actually switched Wolfenstein in this game. Number 3 is, some people will think is really high, but man, could have been my game of the year any other year. Pyre by Supergiant Games. They invented a sport, guys. They invented their own sport, and then they had the nerve to put a beautiful world, a beautiful story, beautiful characters, beautiful art style. This game,
the music,
in my opinion, is the music. Yeah, it's perfect.
Oh my gosh!
And this is coming from a Supergiant Games stan. All right, Bastion's one of my favorite games of all time. Transistor, I would marry Transistor. I love that game so much. So I have to admit, I am a Supergiant Games fan, and I think they're god tier when it comes to music, world building, plots. The game was phenomenal. The ending was phenomenal. I'm replaying this game. I don't replay games ever. I'm replaying this game. I liked it so much just so I could see, like, which characters I kind of missed some things about, because the characters are just that good. Rookie, what's the big... I can't even think of the names right now because I'm just standing over this game, but it's just fantastic start to finish. Great game. Pyre was my number 3. Number 2, I'm going to go with Zelda Breath of the Wild. Everything Collin said about Zelda Breath of the Wild was on point. It was a true open world game. I don't think I ever played an open world game where I invested that much time into. I felt like a true explorer, right? Mm-hmm. Where you could open up your map, you could put, like, your own legends down. And I think a big problem with me with open world games is, like, a problem that I had with Horizon, when I put Horizon lower, is because you open a map and there's just check marks everywhere. They're telling you where to go, right? Zelda just dropped you into this world and was just like, good luck. And I just really love that. And just the moment where you're coming over the Great Plateau and you can just examine the world, Hyrule, for the first time. Just the 3D imagining of Hyrule. We've kind of seen it before with Zelda 64, but the fact that this game just looks so phenomenal, and, like, the physics, the gameplay mechanics, the cooking in it was great. I found myself just looking for different ingredients to cook. It would have been my game of the year if my number 1 wasn't so beautiful. I don't know. I love Zelda. It was a great game.
What are these lists?
Drop out Nintendo.
Oh my god, unbelible! I'm sure. I think we're all gonna have a different number 1.
I'm surprised Collin put Super Mario Odyssey before Zelda Breath of the Wild.
I think when all is said and done, Super Mario Odyssey may be a top 5 favorite game of all time. I love Super Mario Odyssey, and it's one of those games I'm going to continually chip away at. And as I hear there's some great end game stuff and some surprises as well. So I'm going to keep chipping away at it. But I absolutely love that game.
Man, if you've been keeping score so far through this, there are games that Collin hasn't mentioned yet, and Eddie hasn't mentioned yet, and I haven't mentioned yet. So I'm pretty sure I can guess at what your number ones are, and they are shocking to me. Particularly yours, Eddie, if it is what I think it is. Like, are you kidding me? I don't know. We'll see.
Why don't you put Final Fantasy 12 as your number 3? So don't even come at me. And anyway, I love how you love Final Fantasy, and you're so just passionate about it. But the fact that you had the nerve to put that as number 3, you don't have. What am I looking for that you don't have on your list yet? Oh, but you don't have a PlayStation, so I can't really fault you for that, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah, I can't. I was about to say you don't have Horizon on your list, but you have Final Fantasy 12. That is just, I don't know. I just can't even.
I'm a madman.
Eddie's turning to Stephen A. Smith right now.
Rhyme's a good game. Everybody should play Rhyme.
I'm very interested in why you would put Rhyme as number 2. That's a good choice. Good choice.
Okay, we are down to our number ones for everybody, but we still have another category that we all need to vote on. However, we all have our own category. So, which one should we do? We have a best reimagining for a franchise. We have the most likely character to star in a film franchise, or we have what was the third one? I don't remember.
Most creative game.
Ooh,
I like all 3 of these, man.
So do I. All right, let's all say our number one
real
then.
Quick?
Yep, we can just kind of fire through them quick.
Yep, let's do number ones for all of them. All right, so we're not going to argue on these ones then. We're just going to have to present them as they are.
Yeah.
And let them be as they are. Let's see if we add up for any of them. So my best reimagining for a franchise, and this was hard because there was a lot of great ones. Super Mario Odyssey was a great example. Something like Assassin's Creed Origins, which was way different than the other Assassin's Creed. That was great. But you can't go against... I got to go Zelda Breath of the Wild. Nothing reimagined a franchise in such a way that really moved the game forward as Zelda did this year.
For me, I have a lot of games that I could call... Like PUBG, what it did for multiplayer games was something unbelievable to me. I can't put that on there, but I'm going to have to say Super Mario Odyssey. And I wouldn't even consider it a reimagining. Yeah, I would. Okay, yeah, I would, because the revisiting of different worlds, it's HD. So yeah, I'm going to go with Super Mario Odyssey just for the fact that it was something so different than Super Mario 64 kind of, in a way, a little bit. And I want to see more. I want to see more Super Mario Odyssey 3D. So, yeah, I'll go with that.
I'm going to go with Breath of the Wild on that one. Just with the way they just blew open the whole open world concept. I think a lot of developers were probably scrambling that were, once they started playing that, because I just remember seeing tweets of so many developers being like, oh my lord, what did they do?
Yeah. And that would be I was going to go Zelda Breath of the Wild. I just wanted to go with something different. But Zelda Breath of the Wild was just something
different. I'm Eddie, and I'm different.
I wear glasses.
Hey, I wear glasses, too.
So do I.
Hey.
All right, so Zelda Breath of the Wild. You are the best reimagined series of reimagining of a franchise.
Yeah, you did it.
You did it.
All right, so mine was character you like to see in a multi-film deal. I'm going to go with Aloy from Horizon. Just keep it short and simple. Collin talked about her up earlier in the podcast, but that was one of my favorite characters from this year. She was just one of those characters that if she said she was going to get it done, she was going to get it done. And she was taking down like mechanical T-Rexes. Like, I didn't see anyone else do that this year. So I would like to see her in a 3-movie deal with Disney.
You can't top that unless, of course, you go with my pick, which is the correct pick, B.J. Blazkowicz from Wolfenstein 2. Let me tell you this. Wolfenstein 2 and the Wolfenstein franchise should already be films because they lend themselves to it. But let's say somebody crazy like Quentin Tarantino decided to make a B.J. Blazkowicz multi-film deal. He doesn't do multi-films, but if he did, it would work. This game has you fighting mecha Nazis and shooting people with insane guns that you've never seen before. And B.J. Blazkowicz is your hero throughout the entire thing. He is an awesome character. We had the actors on a little while ago as well. Love the actor for it. Think it's a phenomenal character. And that's who my choice would be. Really the only correct choice, let's be honest.
See, the problem with that, Pat, is I'm just going to have to name the 5 greatest Magi of all time. Bayek, and Bayek. So, no, Bayek was he's one of my all-time favorite just protagonists in a game. Really think he is, at the beginning, you think it's on the surface, he's not a very complex character. He really is. He's also just like a super sheriff running around trying to save people, and just watching him go to the, like, I don't even know what the name of it is, but the underworld where he's like sending off the people to kill when he assassinates them, and the ground's wet, and he's sitting there just like screaming at them in his deep voice. It is one of the coolest things. So I really enjoy Bayek.
I'm just going to quickly say Tom Hardy as BJ Blazkowicz, and I can totally see...
I would watch that.
Daniel, who was it? Daniel Calloway from Get Out
as
Bayek.
That's a great choice.
Or even Grey Worm.
Oh, yeah. Oh, my God. He's even better.
Yeah.
You're welcome, Hollywood.
Yeah, those are three great choices.
Doing your jobs for you. I can't tell
who could play Alloy.
All right, this brings us to the last category of the day.
Last one is most creative game. So just overall creativity and style. So I think I'm going to go with, I want to cape for Horizon, but I'm going to go with Cuphead. It's just something that no one's ever done, and that animation is unbelievable.
I'm not going to be an Eddie about this, and I'm going to also say Cuphead. This is a really hard category, but Cuphead was such a unique game, and it took them so long to capture that style. It was all done by hand. They drew it by hand. It's insane.
Yeah. I'm going to be Eddie here, and I'm going to go with Horizon. Technically speaking, like, that game was doing some things that I've never seen before. Even the menu style kind of coincides with, like, the ancient type world that they live in. Just the colors, the landscaping, when that goes night in that game, it just looks absolutely beautiful. Her red hair, her costumes, the way her hair moves when she runs, the sliding mechanic in that game is so dope. So yeah, overall, the music, when you go into the new areas, I'm going to have to go with Horizon.
I can't really fault you with that, honestly. Like, this is a hard category.
I mean, I could go with Cuphead, but I could make a game that looks like Cuphead if it took me 50 years, too, so... Hot take.
Man. Went from curveballs to fastballs.
I can't beat the carrot, Cuphead. That's why I'm angry with you. I can't beat that goddamn carrot.
I beat the carrot in, like, my second try. So, maybe you should get good.
That's a good suggestion. I mean, you can't go wrong with that. All right. Well,
have you thought about playing better?
Have you thought about being good at the game? That might help. All right. This brings us to the most awaited moments in video games, obviously. Our choices for best games of the year. Let's see if I'm right in both of my assumptions of you guys. But let's start with me, and with the same song we've heard 4 times.
Should we run down our list before we go to number 1, or no?
Oh, you know what? You're smart. We should do that. Okay.
Do you have music for running down lists, or no?
I have the same music. I can pull up more music if you want.
No, that music's fine. I guess we could just, I
mean, it's a great song, right? You have a problem with Mario Party 9's ceremony music?
No.
All right.
So far, I'll run through the list.
All right.
We have Patrick. Number 10, Mario plus Rabbids. Number 9, Shadow of War. Middle War something, whatever that game's called. Number 8, Assassin's Creed Origins. Number 7, Wolfenstein 2, Shadow of Colossus. Number 6, we have Cuphead. Number 5, Destiny 2. Number 4, Super Mario Odyssey. Number 3, Final Fantasy 12. Number 2, Rhyme. And for his number 1, we have...
This should come as no surprise to anybody. Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild. I mean, what else can be said about this game? It moved a franchise forward. You can spend hours upon hours upon hours in this game. It drops you in with no idea what you're doing. You die constantly. It's frustrating. It's rewarding. It's Zelda. It's gorgeous. You can play it on the go. It's on the Switch. What else do you want? It's the best game I've ever played in my life.
It's a bold statement.
It's a bold statement. I mean, I can't argue with it. It's a fantastic game. There's just a better game than it this year.
Oh, so, I disagree.
Yeah. So, okay. Pat has Zelda Breath of the Wild as number 1. Collin has Mario and Rabbids as number 10.
Love it.
Nier Automata number 9. Cuphead at number 8. Pyre at number 7. Destiny 2 at number 6. Assassin's Creed Origins at number 5. Horizon Zero Dawn at number 4. Zelda Breath of the Wild at number 3. Super Mario Odyssey at number 2. And his number 1 is...
PUBG.
Oh!
PUBG.
What an erroneous, ridiculous choice.
I am telling you, the way I would describe it, I've never felt the way I feel when I play PUBG. It is one of the most frustrating. It can be really difficult. You may have to sit there and camp in a bathtub in a little house just waiting for people to walk in at times. But when you get a kill, and when you finally get that first taste of chicken dinner, that winner chicken dinner, it is the most satisfying feeling in all of video games. Getting a awesome shotgun kill and taking out a whole squad by yourself is one of, if not the best feeling to me in video games. So it's newer. I have it on Xbox One, but I don't see myself stop playing this, and they're only going to make it better over time. Release updates, and we'll have that new map eventually. So yeah, I go with PUBG, number 1.
Collin's number 1 is PUBG, thus discounting his entire list and rendering it pointless.
Not surprised. That game is something phenomenal.
I know it actually.
We'll argue about it in a minute. So for myself, I'll announce my own top 10 because that's just the type of person I am. 10, I had Nier Automata. 9, I had Cuphead. 8 was Wolfenstein: The New Colossus. 7 was Yakuza 0. 6 was The Night in the Woods. 5, Super Mario Odyssey. 4, Horizon: The New Dawn. 3, Pyre. 2, Zelda Breath of the Wild. And number 1, if you know me, you know what is coming, is Persona 5. Persona 5 was the best game that I think I've played in the last couple of years. And I know I made an argument that, well, why are we rehashing games that like Destiny 1? Why are you putting Destiny 2? Persona 5 did a lot of what Persona 4 did. I think the art style, the music was the best. There is no better music than Persona 5 this year. It's better than Zelda. It's better than Mario. It's better than Nier Automata, sorry. The characters were some of my favorite characters of all time. I loved Makoto Najima more than anything. I would love to see her in her own spin-off series. She is this super confident, super intelligent high school president, student council president. So Persona 5 is like playing an anime. I don't really like animes. I like a few. And this game, I put over 100 hours in this game. The dull moments, there were a lot in the middle of it, but it all pays off in the end because the dull moments end up like revealing. It's basically the dull moments you see have a payoff because they all result in the like twist ending. The twist was fantastic. I can't say enough about this game. The overall look was phenomenal. It had like this pop art, comic book style look to it. All 100 hours I lived was well spent in it. I beat it. I beat all the palaces. The Kamashido Palace, and when you first start, is something like I've never seen in the game. I would compare it to the Bloody Baron quest in Witcher 3 with how deep it was and how engaging it was with getting you started into a game. The menu styles, everything about Persona 5 was perfect, and that was my 10 out of 10 and my number 1 game of the year.
That is the most I make my own soap hipstery choice for a game of the year I've ever heard.
It's not hipsterish though, because
I don't doubt it's not a good game. I'm just saying, like, it's not. How many people have played that game?
I think Persona is a series where if you got into it, because a lot of people would regard Persona 4 as the best game of all time.
What?
Yeah, look it up. It's all just right. Just in regards of this, it's better, dude. Persona is better than Final Fantasy.
Oh, now you're just speaking nonsense.
Persona is better than Final Fantasy, and if Persona had 80,000 titles, like Final Fantasy had 80,000 titles, we would be talking about it. Because you know what the thing about Persona? It's coherent, and I can follow it.
I'm sorry.
I gotta ask Eddie. I gotta ask a pressing question because I know I saw you play Persona a lot for a while. Where are the characters running after a battle when they're in a tiny little room and yet they're sprinting away every time? How can you explain that to me?
If you run track, you would understand. Like after you run a really large, you got to cool down, right? So they're just making a cooldown lap around their fighting area, just to make sure that their heart rate stays up. So yeah, that's where they're running.
I've never played this game and now I hate it because of you.
It's you will actually really like Persona because it's super Japanese. It's kind of like I don't know, I can't even describe what type of game it is. It's a very long anime. You're like building up relationships with different characters that aren't in your party while building up relationship with your party. And you're learning stories of these other confidants around town, and all of them are good. All the stories were good. Like every single one. There's this like gun dealer that you're learning about who has ties to the mafia. There's a doctor who's performing clinical trials in order to redeem herself from being fired from her last job. So it's a deep game, engaging from start to finish, and it's 100 hours.
All right. Well, we had a really eclectic group of number ones there. And it kind of reflects this year. There was a lot of crazy games this year, and a lot of really, really good games came out this year.
Yeah.
No, I agree, and I think what it also reflects is kind of the landscape of video games in 2017 and what it will be in 2018, where we have a lot of options. People love video games and are really passionate about it, and I feel like it's so difficult now to have a lot of overlap in top 10s, which just a few years ago, I feel like you just see every publication had a borderline saying maybe a little bit of shuffling. But yeah, I think it has a lot to say about the selection of games these days.
I mean, look at our number ones. Pat has Zelda, you have an early access multiplayer game, and I have a JRPG from Atlas.
Yeah, you're right. I was right and everybody else was wrong.
Yeah, it's just one of those years where we have a very diverse selection of games. Even look at our list. I mean, some of us don't even have, I don't even have Assassin's Creed Origin on my list. That was a very good game. Pat doesn't have Pyre. I mean, so it's just, we all have different thoughts of what makes a game great, and I think we complement each other very well. Very interesting to see what was in your top 10, even though they're wrong.
It was a hell of a year, you guys. I'm looking forward to an even better year in 2018. And for everybody who's been listening, thank you all very much. This has been our first year. It hasn't been a full year, but it's been our first calendar year as a podcast. Lots of amazing, wonderful moments. Just scroll on down and listen to other ones.
Yeah, in 2018, we will be a little bit better about our content around the podcast.
Mm-hmm.
So we did create a Donkey Kong artist email. So if you have any questions, any requests for interviews, if you want to cuss any one of us out, you can email us at Donkey Kong Artist, DONKEY, Con, KON Artist, ARTISTS. My spelling is wrong. I apologize. I'm an educator. I should know how to spell. And thank you for listening to Pat, myself, and now Collin.
Yay, we did it!
We did it, guys! Hooray! And
Hooray!
To take us out, the exact same song again!
Woo!
I should just play the same song the entire time we were doing it.
Should. Hey, Pat, is this the time where we have Capri Sun and orange slices?
Yeah.
You guys don't get any Capri Sun or orange slices because you both
come on!
Oh, yeah? Well, you know what I'm going to go eat? A chicken dinner.
Oh, I want some chicken dinner. Can I get some chicken dinner?
No.